Dr. John Yang.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I rise to support the International Convention Center bill. I would like to follow up on the previous speaker's speech. Now, throughout its 35-year extension of its casino license, Sky City will continue to be subject to existing and any new casino laws and regulations. In the event that Sky City fails to meet its obligations as set out in the terms of its license could be suspended or cancelled under the current Gaming Act. The agreement will not change the operation and enforcement of existing gambling regime. Mr. Speaker, according to the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, the size of the international business events market is growing. The International Congress and Convention Association estimates that there are approximately 19,000 non-government international association conferences organized in the world on a regular basis, with approximately 11,219 held in 2012, compared to 10,070 in 2011 and 9,120 in 2010. Last year, only 45 of these events were held in New Zealand, partly because New Zealand not having the right facilities to attract large conferences. Mr. Speaker, I have talked to a number of conference owners. They found it hard to believe that New Zealand is unable to host such conferences. It is clear that we have been missing out many opportunities for the growth of our economy. Casinos in New Zealand were first introduced over 2 decades ago. Research shows that there is indeed a link between the availability of gaming machines and opportunities to gamble and the incidence of problem gambling. However, the research does not demonstrate a direct causal relationship between an increase in gaming machines and a commensurate increase in problem gambling incidents. The 230 new poker machines is the same number granted to Sky City under the previous Labour government in 2001 for the development of the existing and much smaller Auckland Convention Centre. Now, Mr. Speaker, under the agreement, the Sky City will have to introduce a number of preventive measures to reduce the risk of problem gambling, such as a predictive modelling tool that analyzes data to identify players at risk of problem gambling, as well as a voluntary pre-commitment system where players can elect to restrict the amount of time they play or the amount they spend. And also, Sky City will also have to introduce player identification requirements when amounts over $500 are being put onto or cashed from ticket-in, ticket-out machines in non-restrict areas, as well as double the number of host responsibility specialists to deliver 24-hour, even 7 days a week coverage. Now, these actual harm minimization requirements will become part of Sky City's host responsibility program, which is monitored constantly by experienced and professional Department of Internal Affairs inspectors. The Gambling Commission is also required to review this every 2 years. It involves a wide range of independent experts in those reviews. The method of review is entirely up to the Commission, which acts independently of the government. Now, Mr. Speaker, the national government has been working hard to build a more competitive and productive economy. The New Zealand International Convention Centre is just one of the government's around 350 initiatives to create jobs and grow our economy for all Kiwis. The centre will be a major asset for New Zealand and will generate significant spin-off, Mr. Chair.
Dr. Janyang.
Spin-off benefits, including a projected $90 million annual injection into the economy, an estimated 1,000 jobs during construction, and 800 jobs once it's up and running. So it is expected to attract about 33,000 more conference delegates to New Zealand each year. Now, Mr. Speaker, to conclude my speech, I would like to quote Mr. Brett O'Reilly, CEO of Auckland Tourism, Events and Economic Development. Mr. O'Reilly says, the International Convention Centre will be a positive signal to investors who we know are already interested in hotel development and are analysing future demand trends. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
David Clendon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Of course, yeah, excellent choice. So I'm pleased to take a brief call on this unfortunate piece of legislation. I think there's one thing we can be sure about. If this bill passes, we can be sure there will immediately be an increase in visitors